AJ, welcome to the cave. Thank you for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Listeners and viewers that can tune in can hear you as Gizmo on Max's original Gremlins, Secrets of the Mogwai. I don't know about you, but I was excited. I'm on old school. I'm 46 years old. So when this was announced, and I was excited that this series was going to premiere. I couldn't wait for my kids to watch it. What went through all your mind when this first got announced?
I mean, I was just excited because when I saw the audition, I kind of freaked out and ran around and like told my girls, I was like, "You're auditioning for Gizmo? Like, what? This is crazy!" So, and that's back in 2019, maybe late 2018. So it was a long time ago. But yeah, I was like, "What are they going to do? What is this?" So I was really excited. Yeah, and then to find out what it was, because at the time it was just test, and then like about 6 months later, they were like, "All right, we're doing a series." So I was like, "Really?" So for me, it's been a very long series of events that I was just like, "All right, cool, Gremlins is coming back." Just very excited for a very long period of time. Still
If you,
excited.
I remember when the first few like little teaser trailers dropped, and I was going like on Reddit and like on those Facebook groups, and the old school fans they couldn't wait for this thing to drop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them. I'm super excited. There hasn't been any Gremlins content outside of, I
Right.
mean, what Gremlins 2 and then parodies on Animaniacs? Like I can't think of what, what else has been out there unless I'm forgetting something. But yeah, this is a big deal. It's been so long.
Now we're a few episodes in. How does this ride been feeling for you?
Surreal. I mean, it's weird because you create something in a vacuum essentially, and then to have people see it and experience it and then see, reactions and fan art and stuff is pretty crazy. I you know, I don't know how to process it. I just hope that people watch it and like it. And that's the thing with a show like this is you just want people to love it. So that's been my primary emotion is like I just really hope people like it. So and so
Mm.
far so good. According to Rotten Tomatoes, we're doing okay. So that's exciting.
Well, actually, season two just got announced a few days ago, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I can't keep track of when it was announced or yeah, because for me, I've known about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, very excited for people to see more because there's so much you could tell with these characters and their sort of dynamic and how they're constantly going on adventures. So yeah, hopefully there'll be more. Who knows?
Mm. As an actor and a voiceover actor, how does it feel like bringing Gremlins to like a new generation now, pretty much?
Surreal. It's weird because it's such a big part of my childhood and such a big 80s icon. It's
Yeah.
wild. I mean, it's cool to think of adults and parents sharing it with their kids and being like, "Oh, this is the thing
Yeah.
I grew up with," but now sort of recontextualized and it's a gateway into horror to some degree and a gateway into Gremlins, which is such a beloved classic and such great films that I'm just excited that kids get to experience this in a way that they're excited about. If they like the show, they'll love the movies and vice versa. So it's exciting.
Yeah. It's amazing. Tell us a little about your audition. Were you approached for this, or have you worked with the creators before and other content, and they told you to come over in this?
Uh, so it was just like any other audition. I mean, like everything else I've done, you basically stand in line with everyone else, and all I did was I got the audition. It was like Gizmo's upset, Gizmo's happy, Gizmo, just a list of emotions. And that was it. I mean, I literally just was like, like making noises and then
Yeah.
recorded it. The only thing I did that was extra was at the very end, I went like, "Brillo," and little things like that from the movies, but that was it. It wasn't anything spectacular. And then I sent it out. I had never worked with Z or any of those people before, so even Warner Brothers, I don't think I'd really worked with. So it was just completely random. And it's funny because Brendan Hay, who's the one of the executive producers, him and I worked together very closely on this show, The Croods, but he was hired after me. So that's the one connection I could have had doesn't really exist. So it was just random, is what it feels like. I feel very lucky.
Before while you were auditioning for this, and when you got the part, did you go back to watch the movies just to get a better idea how you wanted to put your input on Gizmo?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I made like a library of sounds and things that Gizmo does to listen to in the car, which is, strange, but just to get that sound down. But yeah, I mean, Gremlins is something I'm so familiar with. If anything, it made me nervous to watch the movies, which is,
Mm,
I'm like, oh God, I got to live up to this. But yeah, I definitely went back to the source material and Howie Mandel and listened to it a lot, and was just, we go through so many more emotions to some degree and go through such a higher range of stuff in the show that it was nice to have a base of understanding of Gizmo, but then we had to go far beyond it. So yeah, but of course, always go back to the source.
yeah. So I watched a few episodes of, or what do you think was like the biggest challenge for you connecting with this character and then voicing? Because like now, like we see you singing in the lullaby. There's on the mountain and everything. We also see you as the evil gremlin. Like, what's the emotions going through those different type of voices?
Well, I mean, for Gizmo, he's sweet, but he's also got a bit of an edge to him. So there's, for him, he's kind of an adult, to some degree, or a
Yeah,
feisty child. He just doesn't speak our language. So it's emotionally, I'm just trying to play what I remember and do what the directors ask. Essentially, is we have a lot of discussions of like how articulate is he, how angry is he, how feisty, how
yeah,
sad. And then for the evil, we call them evil Mogwai, I think because
yeah,
the word gremlin wasn't invented till the 20s, if I'm not mistaken, because it's a World War II thing, or 30s. But anyway, yeah, that was just getting to. I wasn't even sure if that was something I could do. They're like, oh, can you try voicing the evil gremlins? And I was like, okay. And then it was just like, finding those little sounds and stuff. Be like, oh, cool, and then getting to explore a range of them because by the end of it, we were between me, Gray Delisle, Eric Bauza. I think we were the primary three Mogwai, or evil Mogwai, just doing a range of different sounds and emotions because there's different ones where like, oh, that one has big teeth, or this one's got a weird mouth, so
yeah.
you just are trying to fit yourself into them and develop different identities.
Mm. What about the singing part? Did you find
Oh,
that
hard.
easy?
No,
Hard.
it's very hard. That was the thing I was most nervous about, is hitting those notes. And, I still sing it in the car because I'm so self-conscious about, like, I, I thought it was going to be auto-tuned, but that's just me. Like I asked, I was like, you guys are going to adjust this, right, in post? Because in the original, you can hear there's a bit of a digital distortion. But in this, I was just like, oh, that's just straight up me. So it's like singing, when you squeeze air out of a balloon. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that, but singing. They're like, it's like so high pitched. It took a couple takes.
Oh, when you were reading through the script and everything, how do you, going through episode by episode, how would you describe now like Gizmo's journey through these episodes for the prequel?
I mean, he's being taken out of his home and into a completely unfamiliar world. So his journey is, he's learning to develop a family outside of his core Mogwai family, and
Yeah.
sort of getting to just go on this big adventure. So he's maturing and learning and kind of developing into the Gizmo will find him to be, 80 years from now or something. So yeah, he's getting to do a lot more than, at least as far as I'm aware, he was doing before, where he was just in this cute little Smurf town essentially.
Right, right. For like themes and messages, like when people watch this show, what are you hoping they get out of it?
Um, boy, there's so much. I mean, that's the thing that's exciting about this, is it's incredibly well written in a way that I don't see in a lot of kids shows, and
Mhm.
the themes are very clear, and there's so much about family and sort of learning to evolve and mature, like for Sam, and then for Elle, learning to trust people, and the sort of concept of found family, and that the people you grew up with aren't necessarily your family. It's, you can also learn to become part of a bigger unit outside of that. And there's just so much. I don't know. There's a lot of themes that I feel like really resonate, and and are handled in a way that's clear and mature, and that's pretty rare outside of like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I can't think of too many things that
Mm.
handle it, or Bluey,
Yeah, absolutely.
that handle things in a way that's like mature but satisfying and not over written. It just is and feels very natural.
Yeah. When you went back and you watched the movies and then you started working on these series, Easter eggs, is there certain episodes that we should look for different things?
I mean, yeah, there's so many, but they're you're not being hit over the head with them, except for one. There's one that I
Yeah.
don't know if it's been revealed yet. That's very obvious and very funny. And when I saw it, I went, "Oh, I can't believe you guys did that." But there's even stuff with, I think this episode, yeah, just released, with Elle's backstory is very reminiscent of the Christmas story. With Phoebe Cates and her sort of
Yeah.
like, yeah, so there's shades of things that are parallel, and even the opening, I mean the opening um credits sequence, I guess it's not credits, whatever that is, the title screen, I don't know what the word is, it's a big Easter egg essentially. Yeah, so they're everywhere, they're all over the place, and even to like Big Trouble Little China, there's some stuff with the
Yeah.
like hand motions he's doing in the beginning where he's casting a spell. So there's a lot.
I read online that Zach Gallagher was a part of this also, but he's voicing, I forget who he's voicing in the
I think
series,
it's
but did he
Henchman 2. I
eh,
think
eh,
maybe it's Henchman
yeah.
1.
Did he give you
Yes.
guys any pep talk or anything about jumping into the series? Like,
No, I
uh,
didn't meet Zach till Comic-Con. I mean, I
yeah,
was nervous to meet him, and then kind of we were doing an interview. It was like a couple hours into the day where he was like, he basically gave me his blessing to do Gizmo. Essentially, I was like, oh, thank God. But no, I don't think he gave us any pep talk. He kind of shared some war stories and stuff about like him and Joe Dante, but I don't know. It's such a different world to be doing voiceover versus doing, making those movies in the 80s.
right,
So different. But yeah, he kind of has a funny cameo in a way that like he's not playing Billy, but that would be impossible.
right.
It's pretty nuts.
What are the chances we do see a Gremlins 3 and you're voicing Gizmo in that one?
I don't know. I have no
you
idea. I
got
mean,
you got to push Zach next time you talk to
yeah, I mean, that would be super
him.
cool. I mean, I know they made that, what was like a Duracell commercial or something a
Yeah,
year ago, or I don't remember what it was, but that's probably might be as close as we get. It's a Joe Dante question. And I'm sure they would get Howie Mandel for that.
right, right.
From
Uh, Last question on Gremlins. What are your thoughts? People are saying Gizmo's cuter than Goku from The Mandalorian. What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, I do Star Wars stuff as well, so I probably shouldn't have any opinion, but I they're different. They're different characters. Very similar in a lot of ways. They got the big ears and the big sad eyes. Um, I don't know. They can't they be equally cute? I know Joe is a diehard like, no, Gizmo did it first and he did it better.
Uh,
But for me, I'm like, I love them both equally, so it's hard. I mean, if I had to choose, I would have to go with Gizmo just because he's closest to my heart. But I also love Grogu.
you've voiced some wonderful characters. Who's been like your favorite?
I mean, Gizmo's up there. I love doing anything Harrison Ford related. Doing Han Solo is always such a you know a pleasure and an honor. So getting to do like the Lego Star Wars games where I was
Yeah,
doing basically replicating every line he's done was nuts. Because even when the game came out, they didn't include all the lines. I recorded all of it, but that was insane. God, I mean, there are all these people that are heroes of mine. Figment, I got to do recently for Disney, which is insanity because their characters. I just pointed
yeah.
because he's right here. I don't have my Gizmo up here yet. But yeah, it's surreal. It's weird. I don't even know what the question was, other than it's nuts. And then to add Gizmo to all this is very odd. I'm just gonna keep doing as many '80s icons as I can.
Right.
Apparently,
Well, as an 80s guy here, one of my favorites is it's off topic, I know, but Michael J. Fox, Back to the Future. I'm like praying to see another game.
God, I would
It
love
was
that.
such a fun game to play.
I'm glad you played it. Yeah, I don't know, at the time that it came out, social media wasn't quite what it is now. So the responses, it's almost everyone I meet at a convention has played it. So it's surreal to me because at the time couldn't tell. But yeah, man, I would love another game. That'd be awesome. I know that it's been discussed, but nothing that I know of. But yeah, I'm down.
Right. AJ, I want to thank you for giving a few minutes today. This was great. And how can the listeners, the viewers, find you on social media to keep up with you with everything?
Just my name, just AJ Locascio, on Instagram and Twitter, and there might be an underscore in some of them between my name and first and last name. But yeah, just my name.
Amazing. And now one last thing, I stole this from my kids. I told them I was going to put it on the air for them so they could see it. We won this last year on a carnival, so I told them I'll put it on there for them. So if you want to just give them a little voice out with this, would be great.
Yeah, sure. Oh, I'm big. He's so big.
Oh yeah,
He's such a giant Gizmo.
He's a giant Gizmo.
He's eating too much.
There you go.
That's great.
But yeah, I would thank you. This was great, and let's get you back on hopefully with season 2.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, thank you so much.